anybody will show up or not. It occurred to me that I might not be here this evening, so I figured if I went live and gave everybody a chance to join the chat, then we could chat now or whatever. It'd be like the same thing, sort of, not really, but whatever. People always start coming into the other ones right after the end of the Bible study. And you check the analytics and you realize people are popping in and out. And you realize that they're waiting for the preaching to be over. It sounds really bad and mean on my part, but it's what the numbers show. How's life out there in the world? Hey, Aid, I went through your caravan yesterday trying to see if there's any way to salvage that thing. You could salvage it. You might have to work pretty hard, but I think you could, like, it's not going to ever be pretty again. I think you could make it livable. Hey, Carol. I actually should be out there working on the other ones. But something popped up on my suggested, and I was like, what? So I clicked it, and it was a big church that I had actually thought was on the right path or whatever. And I guess not. Well, I don't think you want to fall through the floor when you're walking around, though. Just saying. Roof's not leaking that bad. We can fix that. Hell, they sell a roof in a bucket now. Stacy went over there. Missed church, Mark. Had Wednesday morning or Wednesday services early. I was going to do a Bible study last night, and I just couldn't get into it. What? Going through my chance, found some I don't know I had. That's okay. It's just believe it or not, I actually was able to keep it sort of short. I think, was it 30 minutes, 34 seconds? We'll see how things go. I shared it on Facebook. Went and watched. I listened to myself preach, and then I shared it on Facebook. We'll see. Not very many people follow my Facebook anymore because I quit putting anything out there because it was like I still have Facebook for Messenger and the garage sales, and that's it. How many quarters, nickels, and dimes, Carol? You gonna be able to buy you a new Cadillac? Or maybe a Subaru Brat? I want a Subaru Brat. I really do. If I could find one that was all in one piece. I don't know if I could drive it very far, but I just think that'd be. I just always wanted to put oversized, like fat tires. Always wanted to put fat tires and fender guards on it and just drive it. Thank you, Carol. I found a jar of change that I forgot that I had. It's a half a gallon pickle jar, I guess. Hey, Chipper, what are you doing out of bed? Oh, it's not time for your nap yet. Well, that's not bad, Carol. I need to round up all my change and go count it and see how much I got. I got $400 or $500. It drives my wife nuts that I just drop it. I've got little buckets and jars all over the place. I got some gallon jugs and uh, coffee cans and stuff, and I just dump my change in there wherever I'm at when I decide to dump my pockets. You might want to go through all that. Depends on how long ago you rolled that. You might want to go through it and make sure that ain't none of that silver. That's what I'm holding on to mine for. I'm going to go through it all and see what's silver. I actually found a couple of silver quarters here a while back. I don't know where they went. Every time I find a piece of silver, it disappears. Um, I wish I was organized enough to use the same thing every time, Carol. It would make my life so much easier. There's about a gallon and a half of change in a 5 gallon jug in the living room. Uh, there's a gallon, no, almost a gallon of change over there. Half a gallon, almost half a gallon of change over there. There's a quart jar in yonder. And then there's just little cans all over the place with, $5 or $6 in it. Lucius Clay. What does that mean? Oh yeah, and the copper penny. We were separating the copper pennies for a while. Uh, Copper pennies are actually worth more as copper than they are as pennies. It's weird. Um, I don't know if it's worth all the effort though. But I think in a coin, a precious metals based economy where the money, the coins become the currency of choice or whatever. I I just feel like the copper ones will be worth more money than the zinc ones. Don't maybe don't make me Google Lucius Clay. Oh, uh, found out something the other day that is disturbing to me. I need to check it, but I don't know how to check it. I don't have a metric. I don't have metric calipers. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, not real money though. I just leave real money laying around. The cloth stuff. Fixing to do a review on this here flashlight. Had it for 3 months now, a little over 3 months, I guess. So it's still bright. Still haven't charged the battery. I'm using it though. So it's got a good battery in it. Took it off the gun last night so I could start planning the review. They wanted me to do it as soon as I took it out of the box. I'm like, I can't do a review on something I took out of the box. I have to use it. So stood up to the gunfire. Got good battery life and it's got a good beam. It casts the way it mounts on the gun, though it casts a shadow. But all of them do to a degree. So I had mounted it like this on the side rail. And I think I would have been better off mounting it upside down on the other side. If that makes sense. Which the rail I have, I can put it almost anywhere. I can actually put it on the top. Should have been there, Billy. It's still up. You can go back and watch it. I missed something in the conversation there, Aid. I need to know a lot of stuff. But to do a review on something, I need to know how the hell it's going to stand up. You know, these people that do these reviews on knives and stuff that, you know, they take them out of the box and try to do a few things with them or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah. I haven't met a knife yet that wouldn't work straight out of the box. Known a few that wouldn't work after you got them out of the box or after they've been out of the box for a while. I was really proud of this one Uncle Henry I had, and then snapped the end of the blade off. Wasn't even doing anything stupid with it. Oh, man, is a 12 gauge literally 12 millimeters? I saw that somewhere. Well, yeah, and then the Lucius Clay also, but I did a uh, live stream church thing, Rob. And if you decide to listen to it, you need to listen to it all the way. Listen to all the little things. Don't get mad at the first thing you hear and then not hear the sentences after that. I justified my statement on the baptism. You do have to be baptized. Just that's not what does the deed. See, that's what I thought because I knew 12 gauge is like 3/4 pipe and 3/4 is 18 millimeters. I knew that. I was like, what do you mean it's a 12 millimeter? All the hogs and up there under all the windmills heard Rob had a new rifle and scope and stuff, and they all went and hid from him. That's what happens though. Whenever you let one get away, they run and tell all the other ones. And that's why if you do that catch and release fishing, you can only catch so many fish before you can't catch anymore because those ones you're letting go, they're running back telling people, "Hey, there's a guy out there with a piece of metal tied to a string again. Don't eat. Don't nobody eat today. Just wait until after lunch." That's what I think anyway. I don't know if it's true, but makes me feel better about not catching anything after the first 30 minutes. Is that is that a true statement, Rob? Man, I don't know, dude. You're like this. You're older than me. You know more stuff. That's really cool. So is a .410, is that a gauge or is that a caliber? Because that would mean it would have to be a caliber. Right? You put 410 40 caliber balls in a bucket and it's going to weigh more than a pound. Okay, thank you. I was planning, I had some uh, 40 caliber ball or something like that. My brother had a Captain ball pistol. And yeah, I could drop it. It would go boom, all the way through the 410. I was saying about loading some up, but thought better of it. I know the 3-inch magnums with BB shot in them. Those are pretty vicious rounds. The 410s. It's really not that many BBs, but that'll tear a piece of cardboard up at about 20 paces. I wish 28 gauge was more popular. There's a there was a 28 gauge. There was a 28 gauge shotgun come through town, and I got to check it out, and it's was bigger than I thought it would be. And it wasn't really that much smaller than a 20 gauge. It wasn't as much smaller than a 20 gauge as I expected it to be. I know a 40 caliber ball will go right through there. Might have been 41. I don't know. I'm trying to find out if I can get uh, if they make a uh, circuit judge, the judge with the long, like I think it's got like a 16 or 14-inch barrel or something on it, a little bitty short barrel. Well, longer than the judge, but I want to see if I would really like to have one of those that was smooth bore, no rifling. I just really think that would be an awesome gun. I mean, you you wouldn't want to take a shot at a deer over 50 yards away, but then you could also use it for everything else. Mrs. S is in her office. Yes. Actually, she gave up her office for a cubicle. Yeah, she is actually in a cubicle today. Your clocks are way off. It's actually quitting time. Tibor, don't listen to me. I will get you fired. Uh, they those $99 breakovers at Walmart aren't $99 anymore, folks. They went up. They're $1.10 now, I think. So I like the old H&Rs better anyway, which are $1.25, I think, $1.50. I think you can still get one for $1.50. They're probably one of the toughest. Those little H&R breakovers are probably the toughest shotguns out there. They're virtually indestructible. I don't think he's quite got 47, but close, Chipper. I think is he sitting on 14 or 16? I don't know. I lost track. I don't have that many toes. And I can't use this hand because I'm holding a coffee cup. I haven't seen the new H&R. Did they change it? I hope not, because um, see, now you got me wanting to. Hold on. Y'all want a history lesson? Hold on. Or, well, I think everybody's seen me. Oh, oh, oh. Oi. So I can make out the writing on this one. I got a flashlight? Ah. Let's oh, I was right. That was like seriously bright light. What are you doing? Are you not working? Oh, that's imagine the wrong button. Okay. This is a Stevens H&R or whatever you want to call it. This gun was manufactured in 1930, I believe, in the 1930s. Says you got a dovetail going into the receiver or whatever. This is by far my favorite shotgun ever in the whole wide world. Uh, the little clippy thing that holds this on broke, so I duct taped it, and my jigger wore out, so I duct taped it, and there's a split coming down the side of this from all the times it's been shot, so I duct taped it. Don't laugh at my gun. I love this gun. My kids, when we go hunting, my kids fight over this gun. I never get to shoot this gun anymore because this is a bird-killing son of a gun. And this is a newer one. Paid $80 for this. It's 20 gauge. I mean a 12 gauge. The cool thing about this one is if I can find a 20 gauge or a 410 barrel, then I can have all three guns with one stock, 3 barrels for one stock. The thing they changed on the newer one, this one, this was from the 90s, I think. This was made in, I think this was 90s model. But I had 20 gauge. That was made in the 70s, and it didn't have this, and it had the stock. You can still pop the stock off. I liked it, but lost that in a divorce. But this, I like the way the stock goes on this one better than that one. I don't think this one will break as fast. Maybe. Well, I say as fast. That one's, the stock's only what, 90 years old. I should be in as good a shape as that thing when I'm 90. It shoots good, doesn't it, Rob? Ain't nothing wrong with that gun. Oh, I'd put that duct tape gun up against anybody's anything. There's nothing wrong with that gun. Now, I wish I had a 10 gauge, then I couldn't shoot it. I've spent more time hunting with that shotgun than any other gun I own. Well, no, that's not true. The 22, the two 22s behind me are just barely ahead of it, because I do a lot of hunting with a 22. Because I mean, when you're hunting for food, you're not going out for deer or moose or elk or whatever. I don't care what the guys in Alaska tell you. When you're hunting for food, you're shooting raccoons and squirrels and rabbits and possums and quail, which if you're a decent shot with a 22, not that I've ever shot quail with a 22, but you could, they'll run and then they'll stop and then they'll stick their head up to see if you're following them. Just saying. Just need to practice shooting at something like that. And by the time I was 12, at 20 or 30 paces, I was expected to hit that with that single shot back there. If I couldn't, I wasn't allowed to take the gun hunting. I wasn't allowed to hurt stuff. I was expected to kill it. I couldn't do that now if my life depended on it. I can't see. You have to be able to see the front and the rear sight on a firearm to be able to do that. So. C103. What? I missed the question in C103. Let me go back up. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, you ask why you... Okay, I understand that now. Jeez. Do you know that neither the 8 nor the 4 gauge were meant to be shot from the shoulder? The 4 gauge was actually a tree gun or a stump gun, and the 8 gauge was a stump gun or a tree gun. The idea was with the 4 gauge or 8 gauge, you waited until the ducks came in and landed on the water. Then you could aim your gun across the water, discharge both barrels. The tree would absorb the recoil, and then you just paddle out and pick up the birds. The same with the 4 gauge. The 4 gauge, though, you could get it in a longer barrel, and you would wait for the geese to fly over, and then you would literally shoot from the stump and then go pick up the birds that fell down, because you're basically it was a howitzer. Yeah. Thank you, Field and Stream. You were literally, you didn't shoulder the gun. You used a tree or a stump to shoot. I believe it is either Field and Stream or American Rifleman, or one of those. I read that in. Long time ago too. 10 gauge, you shouldered it. It was a 10 gauge that took dadgummit. Was Wyatt Earp's older brother. It was a 10 gauge that shredded his arm. Have you ever seen a wall gun, Robert? I'm not shooting one of those either. A wall gun is it's got like a 40-inch barrel or something on it, and it's basically a shoulder-mounted cannon, and what they loaded in it. But there's videos on here. We got some little petite girl, probably maybe 5'4", maybe 130 pounds, that she shoots them to prove that it can be done or whatever, because she's the size of the average person back in the day or whatever. And yeah, hell no. Then see, that's probably a wall gun, Robert, because they were basically, you know, even after the ball was done, it was going to keep going and wreak havoc. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose behind a wall gun is. I just think it's really cool to watch the little girl pull the trigger. She's always standing up after she gets through. And I don't think she jumps up on purpose. I guess I missed something. Anybody see where the Haitian immigrants rushed the drivers on the bus and escaped, and then they rushed the pilots and stuff on the plane? And after they got back to Haiti, I guess they were trying to hijack the plane and fly it back. Uh, People are like, well, why are they only because Haiti's really bad? You think in the yeah, the people coming across the border are, I mean, and when the people coming across the border are scary enough that the Democrats don't want them, I mean, they're okay with MS-13 for crying out loud. Found the rest of the story on that border patrol guy that it wasn't a whip, it was the reins of his horse reins, that he used to explain to that guy that he was not going to go ahead and go across that road. He was going back the way he came. Uh, the guy, the border patrol agent, rode up on the guy, and the guy was cussing his woman and pushing her around and putting hands on her and stuff because she wanted to go back like she'd been told, and the border patrol agent kind of lost his temper. Lucky it wasn't me. And none of them border patrol agents ever hit anybody with those reins. But they gave the people an option. You can try to run through this piece of leather moving really, really fast, or you can go the direction we said. Seems fair to me. Sure got quiet over there in the side chat. Not having anything to talk about. UPS is here. I don't know if the bus drivers were hurt. They did catch the people that ran from the bus. Um, we're going to start having an influx of people from Puerto Rico. I know that. But they get to come over. If they want, all they got to do is fly over here. They're citizens. So they can do whatever they want to. Puerto Rico got hit. One more hurricane will be the end of that place. Haiti, I don't know if they've got another earthquake in them. Uh, that where you're supposed to put steel reinforcement in the concrete. I guess they missed that memo. When does the feast start, Mark? I'm actually thinking about doing that. Well, a Gentile version of it, anyway. There's some aspects of it I can't do. So. Yes, Chipper, in November, if they're vaccinated, they can come on. Well, I don't know if that's right, Billy Bird, because the people that got off the island, they're carrying them back. The thing it boils down to is, and they're trying to, whether or not the places down south where all the natural resources are and stuff, they're trying to thin the population down there, that's for sure. The people in Guatemala and southern Mexico and Honduras and all that stuff like that, they'll come up here, they'll do oil field work for $7.20 an hour. That's like, holy crap. I mean, all they got to do, if they can get up here with their wife and kids, they can file for government assistance. They can, they can make $600-700 a week, but the government will give them, they'll pay for their electricity, give them rental assistance, and give them $800 to $1,400 a month in food stamps. That's more money than these people have seen in their entire life in a year or a month. They literally don't know what to do with all the food. You should see the pantry in some of these places where the people have they like literally they don't know what to do with the food. They ship it home. They can't ship the food stamps home. They ship food. It's not that expensive. Now, population control is a thing. I think if you ever had that video I've shared with y'all the other day, if y'all have any doubt about whether or not it's about killing folks, y'all really need to check yourself. 1 in 500. We had another young man die day before yesterday. And by young, I mean younger than me, younger than my wife. And then the day before that, a guy just older than my wife. He was a piece of shit. He was one of those guys that came up from the South, and he was lucky enough to get amnesty or whatever, and he manipulated the system like you wouldn't believe. He was paying child support, and he had an A and a B address on his house. The B address was his address, and the A address was the house's address. He was paying child support to address A while supposedly residing in address B. And his wife did not work, and her only form of income was child support. So on top of his $90-something thousand a year, they were getting, I think, $1,200 or $1,300 a month in food stamps, and the, what do you call it? They didn't own the house. Wait a minute. Yeah, he did. But she was renting, getting government assistance with the rental. You can't make this shit up. And every our income tax preparer out there could report this stuff could report the fraud to the welfare if it wasn't against federal law to do so. It's actually against federal tax law to report welfare fraud to the welfare system if you work for as a tax preparer. You are forbidden to do so by federal law. I'll go with the or not, but I also not gonna jump on the wagon of they had the ability to do this and they're doing, and there's too many more cost-effective ways to do it. Like, I don't know, making a cootie bug and cutting it loose. 1 in 500. Let that number sink in. One in 500 people have died of this non-existent virus everybody keeps saying about. Well, that's the thing. Everybody says the government, the government, the government. Dude, for the love of God, people, y'all actually believe that the government's the one pulling the strings? I know the mayor here. He ain't pulling stuff. I don't even think he ties his own shoes. I think he has slip-ons. I know our regional representative, our district representative too. He's not. I'm pretty sure he's not. Pretty sure he ain't in control of nothing. He's been the same guy for a long time. The people in control of the Federal Reserve now, I think we might want to watch those folks. It's like the Game of Thrones, that one bank or whatever that was actually funding all the different people that were fighting with all the different people. But yet they never went to war. Nobody ever just attacked them and took their bank over. Why didn't they just go take the bank and just steal all their gold? You know, you had the biggest army in the world. Why don't you just go there and just... Because, well, boom. And they flick a switch, and, you know, the people with the money flick a switch, and nobody eats. There wasn't enough people on the planet in the 1800s for it to work. There are now. Literally, all they have to do, I mean, the people with all the money, they don't care because they have the real money. And they let everybody else think that they are using money, fiat countries, and which have no basis in real value. And then if the people get out of line, the people that actually have money, well, you know, kings and queens and such, decide, okay, these people are getting out of hand. They just turn the money off. They turned the money off in Venezuela. Venezuela got out of line. They turned the money off in Venezuela. When they get ready and things get bad enough, they will simply turn money off in the U.S. But they've got to be ready because when they turn the money off in the U.S., it's going to turn off the euro. Yeah, it's fixing to get real. We had a a thing, and we're fighting it right now. The hospital fired all the nurses here, and now they want to bring in what they call travel nurses, and they want to increase their budget. And no, hire your nurses back. You had nurses. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay $90 an hour for somebody to travel here. Good luck on finding that dream job, Rob. Don't work too hard. Uh, maybe one day you'll learn to what do you call it? Uh, allocate your time, and you'll get ahead of all this stuff. And I think, was it Guns Coast Coast talking? Not Guns, that gummit, Steve Smith. Something preparedness. I mean, it's, you can't get in the doctor right now. Hey, Rob, I may come up there and go bird hunting, even if they ain't none flying. I just need to know when you're going to be home. You need to call me when you're not working or on top of a tower or shooting pigs or any one of 100 of those fun things you do. Yes, him. And did you get a hold of him, or I need to go ahead and use Amazon? Because I'm really ready to start reading already. I'm out of books. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's the big push on this jab, because you don't, if you've already had it, you don't need the jab. So there's something in the jab that has nothing to do with the virus. Thank you. Uh, Finished my last book this morning. Now I have to wait for what's his name to write another book, because you can't just like have the three main characters of the book meet up with the resistance, who is led by a old Chinese guy, and the Chinese people are the enemy, and then just say goodbye. You can't do that. There's got to be another book. Okay, Rob, we won't say anything to bring you back about anything like that. Are you going to be in Leveland this weekend, Rob? We're going to be in Leveland this weekend at that thing where they have stuff. Yeah, I'm just being a jerk, but yeah, you call me later. I'll just talk to you later. I don't know if I've been invited. I'm going to go anyway, though. I mean, if I hide on the back of the car, they won't know. I'll just have to hold on for a really long time. It is coming up on 12. I should probably do something besides sit in front of this computer all day. Ugh. I was going to Lubbock today, but then my daughter found somebody to help her. So just fell back into the category of useless old man. So here I am. The stuff, not trade days, Old Settlers Day or something like that in Leveland. There's like food and games and cowboys and Indians and chuck wagons and stuff. It's pretty cool. I've never been. I'm going to go to the Great Pumpkin next month or something. some pumpkin festival next month. All right, Tibor, be good. Drink water. That's okay, Chipper. I can get you the number for the local RAC, RCA. Yeah, RCA. Rental Centers of America. Then you can like just or not. That's a chainsaw. Anyway, and then you just like rototiller it. Let me the ditch. Just make sure there's nothing else there because it doesn't care cable, gas line, water line, whatever, rock. It's just soiled it. If you need a Maddox, you don't need me. Billy Bird said she'd help. She don't mind digging a ditch. Okay. Politically incorrect joke. A Catholic priest, a Jewish rabbi, and a Texan walk into a bar. What's the first thing the Texan says? Son of a bitch. That's funny right there. Close, Chipper. Oh. It was 60 degrees here last night. Anyways, seriously, if y'all didn't see the church thingy or whatever, I would appreciate it if you'd go watch it and think about throwing it over on your social media. I really do think it's getting closer than anybody understands. I mean, and the thing is, it's not the great and terrible day of the Lord that everybody's like, oh, we're going to get raptured. It's all that stuff that comes beforehand, you know. Christians nailed to trees, and people selling out God and their friends and their family and their loved ones to save themselves or their loved ones. Things are fixing to get real. And considering we've all been warned or whatever, it doesn't matter why we change our mind. It just matters whether or not we change our mind. Did it get all the way to 45 there, Carol? Ooh, that's cold. 3 Nazis walk into a bar. And then what happens, Abe? It's like, what is the priesthood and uh, the left have in common? Their fantasies about the choir board? That was bad. On that note, I'm probably going to go out and shoot. I haven't shot in a few days. I'm going to need to blow off some steam. Oh, shoot something. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of them Eurasian dove flying around. I may go make me some lunch. Got a hunting license. Got a couple shotguns. I'll may go out there and set the camera up and video me shooting my duct tape gun and prove to everybody that it doesn't come apart. So, anyway, be safe in your little journey there, C103. Chipper, you too, don't cut nothing important. Talking about a pickaxe or grubbing hoe with a pick on it. That's what you're talking about. Anyways, y'all be good. I may go. I don't know. I got unlimited go livedness, so I might go live over here again tonight. I don't know. See what the missus and everybody's got going on. So anyhow, y'all be good. Let's chill out. Don't know. And sorry, I yelled at y'all in the Bible study. Well, I didn't yell at y'all. I yelled at. Sorry. Wait, if the person that was supposed to listen to that stuff is in here, I'm not sorry. I yelled at you. I really need you to do that, or I don't. So, love you, people. Y'all still out. Don't die.